Expert care from people who care.
Hi everyone! Today we are here at the Outreach Teen and Family Services office with the Outreach College crew. Grace, Kate,
Lily,
and Maggie Zangara, who will be leading our discussion.
Hey!
Today we're going to chat about social media and supporting our friends who are struggling with their mental health. Let's take a moment to acknowledge St. Clair Health. We're deeply grateful for their generous sponsorship of the 4th season of Teens Tap In.
At St. Clair Health, we're always improving, building on our commitment to face the challenges of today, making an impact on the communities we serve, so we can be stronger together. St. Clair Health, expert care from people who care.
Awesome. So I'm so happy we're all just here tonight and get the chance to talk. You know, I really feel like a popular topic that I'm hearing about a lot for especially like high schoolers and, like college students is about how to manage social media and like what really your interactions with social media look like. So I'm wondering, something that I've been thinking about is how does social media actually make you feel? And what emotions do you experience while you scroll?
I feel like for me at least, I think social media is both obviously good and bad. Like I feel like so many things are like you have the pros and the cons because it's really nice to come home after school and be so exhausted and just like lay in bed and like look at Instagram and TikTok because you don't really need to use your brain for it in a way.
It's like a brain break.
Yeah, you kind of let yourself relax. But
Yeah.
I do also find myself doom scrolling a lot, or if it's like before I need to go to bed and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let myself look at Instagram and like watch TikTok for like 10 minutes, and then I'm on my phone for like half an hour and I haven't gone to bed yet. So I would say definitely pros and cons, but just being careful with like how much you're on it and trying to practice like mindfulness also, I would say.
I think social media definitely opens the door to a lot of comparison. I think that's something like we hear a lot, but it's really like because you're looking at the best parts of someone else's life.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I don't look like that. Oh, I don't do that. Oh, I don't have those things. And I think that's something that like everyone on social media can relate to because you're always looking at something. You're like, oh, I wish I could have that. And that's like how influencers work. Like they're making you think, oh, I wish I could have that. Because they project this like perfect life that everyone wants. So I think it definitely leads me to a lot of comparison. But I also seen like really great ideas on social media because when I'm coming up with plans for a craft that I'm doing, my go-to is Pinterest.
I love Pinterest.
So I think like it's about being thoughtful with your use and also setting limits of how much time you're going to be on it.
And did anybody ever, because I feel like Grace and Kate, like you're saying similar strategies of like, and Lily, we will so get to you because I'm curious what you have to say too. But it sounds like you're both really, really like bringing attention to you have to be mindful about like your use. And but were you taught that? Or is this something you've just like self-identified that you're working towards being mindful?
Honestly, for me, I feel like in the past like week, so my friends and I encourage my friends to download this app, and like this is not a shout out at all, but it's just something fun. It's called Finch, and it's basically like you have this like self-care bird. Yes.
Okay.
So you like have the self-care bird and you like have goals. And so I noticed like especially like I guess recently I felt like I was on TikTok so much and I was just doom scrolling. And so one of my goals on Finch is to only spend an hour on TikTok per day. So I also set like the screen time. I've always had screen time on my phone, but I've always just like entered the password and like told it to like go away. But I'm actually like I can check my phone, but the past couple days, like or week or so, I've been on TikTok for like less than an hour every day, which is like
that's
I'm
awesome.
Very proud of,
yeah.
Because also like on Finch, you don't have to complete your goals, but you can have these little like micro pets and you like attach the egg to the goal. And so I attached the egg to my like 1 hour maximum on TikTok per day. So if I like complete it, then it's like one step closer to hatching because you have to complete the goal 7 days in a row. Oh no, 7 days in a row, but 7 days. But I really want my egg to hatch, so I think I'm like 2 days away from my egg hatching, and so I'll have another pet.
Kate, I want your egg to hatch too. You
know,
got this.
Like, guys, I will send you my code, and we can all be in the same birdhouse together.
I love that. I feel like so you share this with your
Yeah, so
like
my
peer
friends
group.
and my friends and I all have like we all shared our code, so we have a little birdhouse together, and we like send each other like hugs and like encouragement throughout the day. So we'll get notifications, and it'll be like, Addison sent you like gratitude, or like Violet sent you water, or like Carly's thinking of you, and she's so grateful for you, and it's like really sweet. And,
That's
like,
so
yeah.
sweet. I love that. And do they know your goals too? Like, are you?
No, they can't see my goals.
Okay.
Or, like, because you can write reflections and do like breathing exercises and stuff, but like we can just see like when we interact with each other. It's really cute.
Awesome. Lily, I'm curious to learn your social media usage and how it makes you feel.
I'm a big fan of social media. I think it like connects a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have friends from all over the world from like camps and stuff I've done, and it's nice to like be able to communicate and see how my friends are doing.
Yeah.
And I think if like I didn't have it, I would feel left out. So like I do have like friends who aren't allowed to have social media, and they are like they feel more down. Like they don't feel included in as much because like a lot of ways people talk or like they'll text on Snapchat, but they'll send each other Instagram DMs. So I think it's like a big important part of teenage life
Mm-hmm.
to connect people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it can also hurt connections,
Mm.
break them apart by like cyberbullying. So yes, like you have to be mindful of like how much time you spend,
Mm-hmm.
but also like I don't have a time limit on mine because I want to be able to talk to my friends from like that I don't get to talk to every day at school. But I think with the bullying stuff, it is very common, like especially nowadays with like any kind of like body image stuff.
Yeah.
There's just all different types of hate in this world. So I think like trying to like block accounts that are like rude or you don't like, they're like, even if you like see something on their Instagram story where just like you don't like it, it just makes you uncomfortable, it's okay to block them. Like I'm a big fan of like block out the haters in my opinion. But like keep the social media to keep you guys like connect.
Yeah.
Block out.
Okay, cool. So I'm hearing you like you think social media does a good job of promoting connection, and then you also think it's important to set like healthy boundaries with who you choose to follow and kind of curate your algorithm so it's positive.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's something that like I personally, when I graduate high school, is I will be going through and unfollowing all of the people from high school that I don't necessarily need to see what they're doing every day because I don't need that connection. And I think it's like just because someone follows you doesn't mean you have to follow them back.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with having a private account so you can make sure that the people who are seeing your posts are only the people that you want to see them, and you can be more authentic on social media.
Do you feel like though there's pressure around that whole like follow back thing?
I think, especially with like, if you've like talked to each other a few times, someone could come up to you and be like, "Hey, why don't you follow me back?" Or follow me back on Instagram.
Oh, like confront you
like,
about
they'll
it.
Confront you, or they'll text you.
Really?
Yeah,
I've
gotten multiple texts.
I have heard people be like, "Do you follow me back on Instagram?"
Yeah.
Really?
But also, I think like you can honestly show them, give them a follow for like 30 seconds to get the notification and unfollow. Like,
Does the notification not go away?
It doesn't go away.
It doesn't?
It doesn't.
They'd have to like go in their followers and search to see if you were following them.
Oh,
And really who has
I didn't know that.
If they have that much energy, that's a whole other thing.
Interesting.
You know, this podcast. Oh, sorry. Were you gonna say something?
I was like, a big thing for me about spending less time about social media is doing more activities that make me not want to check my phone.
Oh, I
So,
love that,
Being
Grace.
like involved in something, anything that gets me out of the house, even like a craft.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would make friendship bracelets. Well, you can't check your phone while you're making friendship bracelets.
Mm-hmm.
So like instead, like, picking an activity that, like, you focus on, or switching social media out for a game. Personally, I'm a big fan of Heyday right now. So
My
instead of
Heyday obsession was sophomore year.
I
I
know
was playing Heyday
bringing it
every
back.
single class period.
My sister started playing it. I was like, wait, I forgot. Because it's like your little farm, and like
I'm
you
on
gotta
like
go
level
take care,
40 something of my phone.
gotta go take care of those animals. So it's like
Yeah.
a little replacement for like. Well, I'm not comparing myself to the chickens on my farm, but it keeps me entertained.
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
noticed that like I'll be playing like Block Blast or something.
Yeah.
I'll have like Netflix in the corner on my phone, and I just like won't respond to people for an hour, and I'll feel bad because I'm in the middle of a conversation. But I'll be like, I am so sorry. I was living my life and having just a moment to like not talk to people. Just take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Because you're still on your phone. Because I know like a lot of people like to be on their screens. But
Mm-hmm.
there's some apps I think that are like truly relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
Block Blast, love it.
Heyday. It's so funny that
Wow.
we're talking about social media because in health class we just watched The Social Dilemma. I don't know if you've watched it.
Oh.
I've watched that. It's
I watched
about
that.
like
I
the
haven't watched it yet.
algorithm.
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
It's really good. I recommend.
So the social dilemma.
The social
on
Yeah,
Netflix.
it's about basically how the algorithm of these social media apps are basically designed so that we're like the product being sold to like the companies, and like how basically everything is kind of inherently monitored in a way because like they can see how long you spend on a post, like looking at it, which is like how you get your feed to be curated to like fit you so perfectly. And I think obviously there's nuance in the fact that like you can't just get rid of social media, but I think it definitely brought me a lot of awareness to social media usage and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing that I thought of when Grace, you were talking about earlier, how like our social medias, or like a lot of people's social medias, maybe not everyone's, but I would say the majority in the present day are curated to only show the best parts of ourselves and like the best parts of our lives. I was just talking to my friends the other day, and we were talking about a really popular TikTok influencer, and I said something. I was like, oh my gosh, like how is she like never bloated? Like she always looks like she's never bloated. Like I feel so bloated sometimes, and like I never really see her showing that. And then my other friend was like, that's exactly what we were just learning about. Like she's posting her own feed. She's gonna choose to post when she looks her best, and you just don't necessarily see the times that she's bloated. And like that's why. And like it's not fair to compare yourself to someone else who's only portraying like the best image of themselves. So I thought that was also sweet because like my friend kind of like made me
like reframe.
Yes,
yeah.
she reframed what I was thinking.
Yeah, really like that. Okay, my last question on this topic that I'm curious about is, what do you wish your parents understood more about your usage with social media, or like how it really like interferes, or how it's like kind of woven into your life? Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
I think the big thing for me is I wish that like parents and just generally the older generation just understood that just like just delete it or just don't go on it like isn't a realistic option for most of us. Like as Kate and I are seniors in high school going into college, you find your roommates on Instagram.
I found my roommate on Instagram.
Yeah.
Wow,
like,
look at that.
Yeah. I was like, so I will tell you that Instagram encourages me to compare myself to others, but I can't just like delete it.
Yeah, especially for college, it's like very useful.
College.
And I found that like after I committed, I'm on Instagram so much more. It's not.
Yeah, because it's like, and it's like how we communicate with our friends. Like Lily sends me TikToks all the time. So it's like it's part of like it's part of friendships. It's part of the moving on to the next chapter in your life, and just realistically, like there's no like just stop it, just delete it, like just don't go on it. Like it's not feasible.
Because if you did just delete it or stop it, you think it would like really impact connection and feeling like you belong.
I think it would
with
be
your
like
peers.
a significant detriment to social life. And that sounds like a big thing to say, but there's a lot of things that happen on social media.
I would say it's also different if you kind of have been using social media for a long time and you told someone to just delete it. But like if someone didn't have social media, like and they were already comfortable with it, I don't think it would like be a big deal. And then also like I feel like so many people who say they don't have TikTok, but then they just watch Instagram Reels. It's like you do the same thing, but just not on a different app. So it's like deleting TikTok itself doesn't necessarily solve like the doom scrolling problem.
Kate, that is me. I'm like, I don't have TikTok. I have Instagram Reels. Yes. And it is true. Like, I feel good, though, saying, like, nope, I don't have TikTok.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's the same exact thing on basically Instagram.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
My parents are big, like, social media people. Not that they have any social media, but they really like that I have social media. And they really like to say, can I snap this? Can I snap her? Will you post this on Instagram? Can you show me this Instagram? And I'll send them, like, an Instagram, like, you can send a post, like, through text.
Yeah.
And my dad will, like, look at it, and he finds it the funniest thing ever, and it's the cutest thing ever. So, like, for my family, social media is like a big part, and like we don't get to see each other that often. My parents like both work a lot. And me and my sister both are very busy, so we like send each other things throughout our day, like funny cat videos.
I sent my parents a funny AI cat video today. You know the orange cat?
Yes.
Yeah, I sent them.
But like little things like that, I feel like in my family are just like something that connects us, and like we'll talk at the dinner table. We have dinner a few nights a week together. We'll be like, did you see this like Instagram reel I sent you?
It's like a conversation starter.
Conversation in our family.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like with other families, but like, my parents are very like they think it connects others, and they do sometimes are like use less.
We'd like to take a moment to express our gratitude to St. Clair Health. They've been our steadfast annual sponsor, supporting our podcast for 4 consecutive years now.
At St. Clair Health, we're always improving, building on our commitment to face the challenges of today, making an impact on the communities we serve so we can be stronger together. By creating reliable resources that recognize all of our neighbors, with access to the highest quality healthcare, advanced care close to home, and a shared humanity that delivers on our joint vision to create a healthier community for all. St. Clair Health, expert care from people who care.
Awesome. I say we just keep going on this topic.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like we really gathered a lot of thoughts. And
Yeah.
feelings. Yeah.
And it sounds like for most of you, like your parents are aware and even like engaged, Lily, in your family with your social media. Were there conversations though around like how to be safe or how to have healthy boundaries with it? Or have you ever found like tension between your parents because they're trying to...
My parents personally like don't understand social media. Like they don't use it.
Same.
And they've like tried to like monitor what I do on social
Monitor
media
is the word I was thinking.
when I was younger. And I they like have an Instagram account and they follow me and my sister.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, so maybe they would look at it like once a month and see what I posted. But I was like, there's a lot more to what happens on social media than what you can see on someone's profile.
Ooh, I want to learn more. What's this? Let's added layer.
Let's take Instagram for example. So you go on Instagram. If you're looking at someone else's profile, you can see their picture, you can see their bio, you can see their story highlights, and you can see their posts.
Their grid.
And you can see what they're tagged in.
Yeah. What
you don't see is everything that may or may not have happened in their direct messages, their DMs. You don't see any past story posts that aren't archived. You don't see any posts that were up and they took down. You don't see what they commented on other people's posts.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see what people responded to their stories with. You don't see what they responded to other people's stories with. Like, there's a lot of layers that you can't tell just from looking at someone's profile.
You can also hide tagged posts, which I have done before.
I've done that too.
Sometimes they truly tag you in just the worst picture.
I know. For student council, sometimes they do me so dirty. I can't be seen looking like that. My eyes are half closed. The flash is on. I just can't.
Yeah.
And do you feel like when you're on, like, say this example was about Instagram, do you feel like most of the time, like, your behavior is these added layers that aren't just like if a parent looked at your
Yeah.
feed
Because,
would
like,
really know?
Well, if you looked at my Instagram, you would be like, oh, she hasn't posted since December, I think. Whenever I last posted. She's probably like not on it that much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you looked at what's underneath, you would see that I'm like sending people posts. You see I'm liking people's and I'm commenting and I'm reposting stuff on my stories. So like you can be a lot more active on social media than it seems. And then you could also in a worse example, you could seem like the most kindest, nice person from your profile. And then what you're saying to other people could be cruel and evil, and you would never know just from looking at the
I
profile.
feel like I always see
That's
that
big.
on like TikTok, and people are like, "Oh my god!" Like I feel like there's always drama, people getting canceled or canceled. I know cancel culture is a big thing, especially like on TikTok, and it's like, "Oh my god, we thought this person was like the sweetest person ever, but she's actually done X, Y, Z. Like she's not a good person, or like he did this, or stuff like that." I feel like I see that on TikTok a lot.
I feel like some of social media, especially like influencers on TikTok, I
Yeah.
feel like it's almost acting that they do. That they are like portraying a role of another character, but it's still like their name. Like they're not always showing who they are and their personality. Like imagine like you're going into a TV show, you get a script, you get like this is how your like character acts. I feel like when they go into social media, this is how they want to portray themselves on social media, even if it's not who they really are.
Gotcha. And do you feel like you have a keen eye for that? Like, does it show up not authentically?
Well, I wouldn't say like I always see comments that are like, "Oh my gosh, how does she have this much energy to do this?" Like I don't know if you guys know Alex Earl.
Yeah.
Like she's always partying and going out with her friends, and everyone's like, "How does she have this much energy to do this?" Like I go out with my friends for one night, and then I have to like stay home for like a week, and like maybe she is tired from going out, but she's not going to show that because that's not like what her brand is marketed as.
To portray the party girl.
Yeah.
And like her job is to go to the parties, so everyone can see it.
And I see some more where it's like, I know there's this one woman on TikTok who she like posts about like her marriage and like her kids and like her house life, and everyone in the comments is like, "How are you so happy all the time? Like you look so happy. Like how can I like have your energy?" Like she could be that happy, honestly, or she might also be sad sometimes, but just portraying herself as being very happy.
Yeah. Okay, last question, and then we'll have to wrap. But Grace, you kind of brought up an interesting point about how someone can portray as kind and then act maybe through like what they comment on other people's posts or through like DMs. And you said like a mean and maybe even sometimes like nasty way. You know, I kind of think of that as cyberbullying, right? But I want to hear more about that with like, is that something you see frequently is happening? Like, I think it's hard for parents and older generations to like actually know what it looks like in practice.
I would say like a good metaphor is like the amount of bullying that the older generation thinks is physically happening in schools. It's like triple that amount online.
Triple.
Maybe even quadruple.
There's a
Quadruple,
lot of
Lily.
being able to hide behind a screen and not physically going and saying it to their face and seeing their reaction.
There's some accounts that people don't have their name on it. It's like user 4875, whatever. They can go in, they can still have an account and then go in and message someone what they're thinking. It could be a fake account.
Yeah.
And send hate to someone else. Like I know that's happened to me. I have no idea who it was. I really don't care. But like, it's still mean.
It's so mean, yeah. And you
don't know who it is.
And you think like it's really true the statement of it's easier to be mean if you're hiding behind a screen.
It is a lot easier to be mean. It's like with anything, it's easier to send like a difficult text than say to them in person. like, and that could be for anything. It doesn't mean mean. It could be sad. It could be great. Like, and
Yeah.
it's a lot easier to type it instead of having to say it to someone's face and see their reaction.
For sure.
And how do we like, how do you combat that? Or like, what's the healthy way to cope with that, do you think?
Report.
And also,
Report
if-
on the app?
on the app. If you want to message someone and it's like important, like, oh, this is happening today, or send them an Instagram reel, but be like, this is how I'm feeling today, and it's like a sad Instagram reel.
Yeah.
That might not be the best like situation. Maybe call someone.
Ooh.
I'm a big fan of the instead of text.
Let's talk.
Call if
Let's
it's
call.
something important, or if like someone's
can't
feeling
see-
less important.
You can't see tone on text.
Exactly.
It's so easy to misinterpret
Yeah.
a joke or sarcasm with something serious.
Before you decide on your roommate, make sure you FaceTime them.
Yes.
So you can actually talk face to face, figure out like what they're saying and like how they're saying it. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Because like you said, and punctuation, like some people might just not use punctuation,
Yeah.
and it might, or maybe they do,
Sometimes
and it makes them
people
sound like
just genuinely text so grammatically correctly. And I'm like, are you mad at me? There's a period at the end of your sentence.
yes, periods
Yes.
make me feel like someone's mad at
I
me.
feel bad sending periods.
Me too. I'll just like
Me
not
too.
do punctuation.
I'm like exclamation point. I add a comma because I'd rather have.
I
a
do semicolons.
I do a dash.
I do a dash where I do semicolons and then I end it with an exclamation point.
It's like here.
It's like, ouch.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm hurt by those.
I
Yeah.
do semicolons or dashes.
Yeah.
To conclude, we want to express our gratitude to St. Clair Health, whose support makes this podcast possible. We invite you to listen to the following message from our sponsor.
At St. Clair Health, we're always improving, building on our commitment to face the challenges of today, making an impact on the communities we serve, so we can be stronger together. St. Clair Health, expert care from people who care.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad we were able just to get together and talk about social media and really what it's like. I think this will be helpful for our listeners, and maybe we could do another episode like this in the future. I kind of
Yes,
thought
this
it
was
was
super
fun.
fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much, Kate, Grace, and Lily. I'm so happy to have you as part of the OCC.
Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you, Maggie. It was great
Thank
to
you,
talk
Maggie.
to you.
Thank you all for listening.
Yes. Bye.
The views and opinions expressed in the Teens Tap In podcast represent the opinions of the hosts and their guests. The views and opinions expressed by Outreach Teen and Family Services employees, donors, and volunteers are their own and do not necessarily reflect the view of Outreach Teen and Family Services or the show's sponsors. The content here should not be taken as counseling advice. The content here is for informational purposes only, and because each person is unique, please consult your mental health provider or physician for any mental health counseling or other medical questions. The podcast should not be used in any legal capacity whatsoever, including, but not limited to, establishing a standard of care in a legal sense, or as a basis for expert witness testimony. No guarantee is given regarding the accuracy of any statements or opinions made on the podcast. If you find any error in any of the content of the podcast, please contact us at podcasts@outreachteen.org. Outreach Teen and Family Services, its sponsors, donors, and partners expressly disclaim any and all liability or responsibility for any direct, indirect, incidental, special, consequential, or other damages whatsoever arising out of any individual's use of, reference to, reliance on, or inability to use this podcast or the information presented in this podcast. Please go to www.outreachteen.org to see the complete notice and disclaimer for the podcast episodes.